professional cowboy?
I was. I steer wrestled for almost 12 years.
So there are classes in steer wrestling?
There's schools.
There's schools?
Yeah, so there's schools. So it would be like a weekend, and a guy would host a school and basically get a bunch of guys that haven't learned, and you start out by sliding a pipe, so they give you nothing but a pipe so you can learn how to slide a steer so you can keep your feet that. Then you learn how to get off the horse, and then you learn how to walk by and get off it a little bit more, and then you back in and run a steer and put it all together.
And after that 6-hour class, you're a steer wrestler?
Yeah, it was a 3-day class, and and actually after 3 days you were more sore than you were a steer wrestler.
I imagine so.
1998 was the first time I ever steer wrestled, and I won Rookie of the Year. I won their finals and won the year-end award. So I won the most money in steer wrestling in Colorado at that time. It's actually what led me into my career and where I am now. What I had was a passion to do something, and then how do you figure out how to pay for that passion? So unbeknownst to myself, I was like, well, I'm a steer wrestler. It's a kind of an American icon, and there's a lot of brands that are always looking for stuff. So I went out and garnered a relationship with Meineke Discount Mufflers. Led into me really understanding what, how the psychology of consumers work and really how the psychology of subcultures work. It was really just about taking the base understanding of people, because it's really what psychology of consumer is just understanding what are the commonalities that we all have and what are those psychological motivators that motivate us. And a lot of those motivators are always, there's not a huge difference in motivators in between us. We just, which ones get triggered and how do they get triggered, and do we acknowledge because they're subconscious or conscious motivators, and really, so I mean that playing field is what it is. We're all human and we all have drives, and you can look back in history.
And you just happen to be in the equine industry at the time.
Absolutely. And so well, entrepreneurship has always really been, that's been my ground, obviously, sometimes without even knowing it. Just how do I solve problems and how do I make money doing what I love or fixing other people's problems. I mean, when you do a little circle around here, it's just amazing the guys that you run into that are true entrepreneurs that have made it. And so the energy has been really amazing. Without knowing that, moving here, the energy here has been really amazing from McKinney. And so fostering that entrepreneurship is, I like that energy. I think it's why it helped me teach and why it helped me coach and why it helped me where I'm at now of wanting to. So inside the cotton mill is the 9,000 square feet of space where Zynga, Words with Friends, used to be, that we now are going to host the Collide Center, and really just a place for entrepreneurs. If you're the right person, we want you in here colliding and innovating. We're already moving. We are in partnership with MEDC, and and they're providing a lot of the opportunities, and my company, Curious Complex, will be the anchoring company. For us, it's about managing that flow, because you'll have everybody from the early entrepreneur that says, I have an idea, but I don't even know the type of business to structure. There are things that as you're first starting, that you've got to be able to understand. And so we're going to have classes on how to start a company, because slightly more advanced is, what's my goal and end game in this? Am I going to think about raising money? Because that will also determine a little bit of what type of form and structure that you want. We've got a great group of investors, and believe it or not, there's a powerful group of investors just here in McKinney, and we're going to set up pitch sessions where you're moving along with your company, and what you need is some more capital infusion, and pitch down to the angel investors and put these pitch sessions together. It's about creating a common place for people to come, and then making your business out of that. So Curious Complex is a marketplace for the obsessed, and what we do is we create very, very focused marketplaces that allows you to find, buy, and sell with other people that are just obsessed as you are around a very, very specific thing. If you're not super obsessed, we don't want you in our marketplace, really. I mean, just that's as candid as it is. When you have a 68 Camaro, you have no interest in 67 or 69, because when you own one, you just want the parts for my 68. I just want what I want when I want it. And so new, used, or on sale, that's what I want. So we create those very focused. And with doing that, we create a very tight-knit community that allows them to find, buy, and sell between each other. Curious just reduplicates these over and over for any person's obsession, hyper-focused. And for McKinney, we're going to do the exact same thing. Not just how do I find the local store, but how do I find that really hard-to-find product that some of the local guy is making? How do I find that? We're on the constant hunt to find experts in super sub-niche culture. We tested it in a beta test in barrel racing. So we launched in barrel racing, hyper-focused marketplace. The very first day, I sent out an email for barrel racers. I had I think it was a 12% open rate. I had a 4% click-through, and of those 4% click-through, I had 39% signups. I sold product day one that I signed up. By the end of the week, I had over $800,000 posted in deals. And by the end of the month,
For barrel racing,
for barrel racing,
national.
national. McKinney Curious is really facilitating the need that says, I'm obsessed about buying local. You're going to actually start to see us partnering with some of the creative people here that put up their art, and it'll say, buy it at McKinney Curious. And so starting to tag places that says, because really we're about the hard to find and very specific in McKinney. And that's if you want to buy local, if you want to buy from here, but with other people that like to buy from here, this is the place to do it. I mean, that's... I married my wife, who's from McKinney. We hadn't been dating very long, and I wanted to figure out how do I bring up the conversation with her that, when's too soon to talk about marriage. And so, jokingly, I bought an elephant, stuffed elephant, and I put it in her room, and, what's the elephant in my room? So we started talking about that. So it became kind of the way that we joked about having conversations about, elephant chat. So funny enough, we just thought, well, wouldn't it be neat if you could just have a cube that sat there, and then next time I wanted to have a conversation with you, I just unveiled it so that you knew that we wanted to talk about something. Any entrepreneur would. I just said, hey, let's get a few guys together, let's throw some cash at this. I've got the tools made from China. We've got all the production going, working on developing relationships with the marriage counseling industry to see because I think marriage counselors are the distributors, because it really follows the same methodologies that they do.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't want one in my house, because that elephant would show up in my face
more
more often than I want it there.
Yeah, that's right. It wouldn't have a lid. So.
If you think you have a story to tell, send me an email. But I have to tell you up front, it better be good.